There's little dopamine in this video for one reason. I want you to actually take action after you watch it. Rather than just having another video with movie scene B-rolls and some dramatic music and some motivational quotes where you watch it and you feel good, but you never implement anything. Like I said, this video is going to have little dopamine because I want you to take action after watching it. If you can invest just a little bit of time in yourself here, I can promise you this can and will change your life. It's called the Perpetual Protocol. Now, before I go into the exact steps, the exact process on how to do it, I'm going to explain a bit of the philosophy. If you don't want to listen to this, you can skip along on the chapters at the bottom. The word perpetual, by definition, means never-ending, occurring repeatedly, so frequent as to seem endless and uninterrupted. Me and my best mate Cal adopted this word as literal gospel because of what it means. It means to keep moving forward constantly, to get 1% better, to get 5% better. And the only important thing is to be better than you were and to continue to improve and strive for it. There's literally why we named our socials it. It's why we named our platform it, because it is just so important. You should focus on pursuing perpetual motion. That your goal isn't a specific goal, it's to become better than you've ever been and to perpetually, to continue to get better. That way the goals you have are actually byproducts of your life. It is inevitable that you reach them just because of the person that you are and the person that you've become. Everything in this video I have actually done. I spent 5 years learning about self-improvement, learning about self-development, trying to be better, and I failed so many times. But I can promise you, this is the one thing out of maybe a select few things that really, really do help. Through this video, I've just cut out everything that doesn't help and only left in the stuff that does. Anyway, you've heard enough, let's get on with it. Step 1 is vision. You don't need a vision board. You don't need to sit in your room for 30 minutes a day visualizing your life and who you are. But what you do need is to specify your vision. And what you do need is a identity vision page. Grab yourself a notepad, split it in two, and on the left side, you're gonna write present, and on the right side, you're gonna write desired self. Now on this right side, you're gonna write out everything you desire to be and have, not material, just characteristics, traits, habits, behaviors. Now this is deeply personal. It's what you truly want. Do you want your desired self to have unwavering discipline? Do you want them to dress better in a certain style? Do you want them to be a man and not a boy? Everything about your desired self, write it down. It does not matter how specific. Actually, in fact, the more specific, the better. Then, on the left side, write down all the behaviors, characteristics, habits you have right now, good or bad, aligning with your desired self's counterpart. If you have anything in common, strike it through because, well, you're already there. Everything else, it is time to work out how to get there. Now you'll notice why I said not material in the next section, because this is all about identity and process. When things are just material and objective, they are just objects, it's really hard to devise step 2, which is the plan and creating a bridge between. That the road can become so blurry if it is so tangible and too tangible that you actually never end up knowing how to get there, and you put these things on a pedestal, and then psychology, you just have much less chance of actually achieving them. So you focus on writing down the sort of person you want to become, the sort of traits, characteristics that they will have, and then we can build a bridge. I was on a group call inside Perpetual before New Year's, and we were planning out the things we want to do for 2026, having a conversation about what we did 2025, what went wrong, what we want to do better. And one of the things that resonated with all of us, and some didn't realize, but I really came to the conclusion that the only things I achieved that I did, things I haven't achieved in previous years, was simply because there was no bridge between them, because these things were too intangible, these things were too almost put on a pedestal, and it was so blurry. There was no actions, there was no systems, there was no habits in place to actually reach and get there. A lot of people, what a lot of people do is they set goals knowing they're down here, and they think future me is going to set a process, or future me just hoping that, you know, they're going to get there. I'm hoping that eventually I'm going to figure it out and get there. No, you need to be realistic. You need to actually figure out actions and systems and habits, which nicely segues into step 2, which is building a bridge. Building a bridge consists of 2 things, actions and systems. Now, once you've done step 1, you need to build a bridge between each one of your characteristics, traits, habits, whatever, with systems and actions. The easiest, for example, like I said, if you want to start dressing better, you identify what sort of dress sense you want, identify literal products, clothes, and you buy them and you wear them. That is a very simple, actionable step. Another one is if you want to become like a consistent content creator. Again, this is an example I use because it's really easy to use. You know, you need to script, You know you need to record, you need to edit, and you need to post. That's actions. And then you devise each one of those actions into systems. So I'm going to carry on this example. Scripting. Scripting to create a system could be every single day when you wake up, you have 30 minutes of scripting videos before you shower or directly after you shower before breakfast. That is then your systems. You record 2 videos or you record 1 video every single day as soon as you get home from work. Like maybe you have a banana and you go and record straight away. That's building a system. And then you're editing. You could edit every single night from 8 till 9 or 8 till whenever your editing is cleared. And then posting, you post the next day, or you post every Monday at 6 p.m. whenever. Obviously, for some of these things are going to be harder, like if you want to build discipline, that is something that's a much more complicated answer, but you can break that down into steps, knowing that discipline is a skill, it's a part of your brain, it's the prefrontal mid-cingulate cortex. So every time you do hard things, your brain literally grows. So by doing things you don't want to do, it grows. So you do smaller things that you don't want to do to build up the strength and the part of your brain, the neurons, to make them stronger so that you can do things you don't want to do that are harder. So, for example, you don't want to make your bed, very easy to do, you do that. You don't want to wash the plate as soon as you eat it, you do that. And then eventually it's going to get to the point where you don't want to go and run a half marathon, but you do it because your brain is strong enough to do it. It's quite literally like a muscle. If you want to get stronger, you need to do more reps. And then you need to up the weight, you need to up the intensity. And again, do more reps. Progressively overload your discipline. Build the bridge, find the action, build the systems, and take the action. Remain in the systems and you will continue to cross the bridge until you get there. Every action you take, every time you obey your systems, you will get closer to crossing the bridge to get to the other side to reach your desired self. Step 3 is momentum. Now, this process is designed around identity. And identity is the only way you can change your identity is making small, consistent changes in favor of your new identity. Now, when it comes to making these small, consistent changes, you need momentum. You need to understand you have to build up, start small and build up and get faster, start small and build up and get progressively closer towards them. So, like I was saying, when you're building these systems, you need to build them off your current identity. You need to build them off of your consistency and your discipline and not your motivation. This is why people fail New Year's resolutions, because they set up plans based on their motivation. And guess what? Their motivation dies. And then guess what? They just crumble. In other words, in order for this change to really take place, it's about putting in systems and making changes in the name of longevity rather than the size of the action itself. What can you realistically do when you are unmotivated? What can you realistically do when your energy is low, when you're tired? Those are the actions you need to start with. It's that you build consistency with those, you build up habits, you build up systems, and then you increase them. Momentum. Start small, build up. Again, sound like a broken record. It's about the longevity and not the size of the action. About the longevity, not the size of the action. And if you do take this seriously and you do this process, I can promise you, you will turn out as who you want to be.